94.9 FM. You're welcome. My name is Michael Oni, and this is where we take a critical look at issues as it affect our dear nation, Nigeria, and also as it affect our dear state, Abia State. And if you've been following our conversation right here, you will understand that we've been on the security challenges facing a particular local government in Abia State, Isuikwuato. Now, in continuation of our series on the security challenges and the rising wave of criminality in the area, we're dedicating another episode of the pinnacle of all discussions, the platform, towards answering some of the nagging questions relating to what stakeholders and other non-state actors are doing to arrest this situation. And previously, if you followed, and it's also still live on it is still live on our Facebook page and of course our YouTube page, we highlighted that Isuikwuato is famed as the land of generals due to their huge interest in military and paramilitary services, where their sons and daughters have excelled at producing top security heads across formations and of course units. And the course of our previous engagements, we spoke to security chiefs from Isuikwuato. We also engaged traditional rulers, residents, town hall executives, opinion molders, and other interest groups, and they all shared their experiences and proffered solutions towards taming the ugly monster. Just a few days ago, unfortunately, another round of kidnapping was reported in the land of generals. So one of the reasons we're sustaining this conversation, this is shocking reminder of our point of departure, the rising wave of crime in Isuikwuato. Undoubtedly, security of lives and property is the primary responsibility of every government, and adequate security is a driver of development and stability. The question of what the government of the day has been doing or what the government of the day is planning to do to guarantee the people of Isuikwuato security is the thrust of this leg of our special intervention of the platform on the pinnacle of all discussions right here on Flow 94.9 FM. On this episode, we are speaking with a wide range of stakeholders who are in a better position to answer the questions as regards the role of government in bringing enduring peace to the area. And we shall be speaking with the local government chairman, the lawmaker representing the area, and of course other political stakeholders. But this morning we're starting with the honorable member representing the good people of Isuikwuato State constituency at the Abia State House of Assembly, and he's joining me live in the studio. We will be talking to others all virtually this morning. Honorable Emeka Okorafor. Good morning to you, Honorable. Glad to have you join us this morning on the platform on Flow 94.9 FM.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Interesting time we've found ourselves, especially your constituency. I don't know if you have an idea of what is going on and how anytime there is a kidnapping along that axis, Akara axis and the likes, I don't know how you receive the news.
Well, the happenings in Isuikwuato, takes my mind to the purpose of state, where everybody agreed to set up the Leviathan in order to guarantee the happiness of greatest number of people. And that's why fundamentally, like you recall, that the major responsibility of government is security and their welfare. And security can come in different ways, either food security, physical security, life security. And here we are talking about life security.
Okay.
I won't say the issue of Isuikwuato, it makes one feel much more worried because Isuikwuato is home to the an army battalion. Isuikwuato is also home to the area command. And this problem we are having, these challenges, though we agree that it's a national challenge, and we also agree that the security architecture in Nigeria is bad. But in some states, I think they've tried the much they could as a federal system to, remedy this situation. Like in Enugu, the story is no longer the same. The issue of kidnapping in Isuikwuato first occurred in 2019, and at the time we thought the matter was over. But last year the thing started precisely on the 6th of October 2020, and If not for God's grace, I would have been a victim because I ran into them at the point they were kidnapping the former TC chairman of Isuikwuato, by staying in near Wus. And even before then, I made a matter of urgent public importance at the House of Assembly when I complained about the bad state of road along the section between Akole and Akara.
Okay.
There have been arguments that that road is a federal road, but I know it's a state road. And even if though considering, assuming but not considering that it's a federal road, I don't see anything wrong, morally wrong, or criminal if the state government decide to fix that bad
Okay.
spots on that road. And if you look at Isuikwuato, we also bordered with some other states. We have about 4 entry and exit points in Isuikwuato. When our emphasis is placed on the Akara Akoli road, it seems that's the only place we're having these challenges, but it's not. You look at Nonya, Oboro, axis, it's also in a very bad shape, and so many persons have also been kidnapped, including the chairman of PDP was kidnapped along that route. Then you have the Acha, Ozara, Ovim Road, which bounces with Ebony State.
Okay.
That road is also in a very bad shape, and a lot of persons have also been kidnapped. Then recently, Apsu Akara route is also a place that is giving us goosebumps because students are back, and that road is one major road that people follow. And just 3 days ago, there was an attempted kidnap there, and the day before yesterday, there was a kidnap there, and the person is still in
the custody of
yes
the
custody of
kidnappers.
this
Very
kidnappers.
unfortunate incident. Now it brings to question. You represent the good people of Isuikwuato, state constituency at the House of Assembly, Abia State House of Assembly. What have you done? Have you interfaced with your people, and have you brought this matter up on the floor of the assembly?
Yes, like I said, prior to the first kidnap on the 6th of October last year, I made a matter of urgent public importance for the need to fix that road because I know that road poses security challenges if nothing is done. The government, to an extent, responded by asking Abroma to do some palliatives, but unfortunately, due to lack of funds, from what Abroma said, they were not able to do much on that road, and they left much to be desired. Even the then TC chairman of the local government also made attempt to do something after the first attempt on kidnap, and but that was not enough. And I did a matter of urgent public importance, same on this road, and there was this complaint even from the members of the house that resolutions have severally been passed, but those implementing those resolutions are yet to have the political will to do so, more especially the security agencies that we have in the state. Nothing much was done. I also had interaction with the security chiefs in Isuikwuato, and I was advised that if I can make that place motorable, that it will reduce the incident. And even in December, I made sure that those places were filled, and made more trouble. But I've always raised this issue that it's not just to keep that road moving, but we need to clear the grasses and those trees around, because that was what the Enugu people adopted when there were kidnapping incidences along Okigwe Enugu Road, the Port Harcourt Road. They cleared very deep into the bush, had all the trees, whether economic tree or whatever tree, so that people will have enough to see. If the vision is very clear that you can see far, then I don't see any criminal coming very close. But
Okay.
it needs government to deal with those issue of economic trees. But up to now, for whatever reason, and on the one that took the life of one man from Eda, I called the attention of the state government. I called the chief of staff. I spoke with the commissioner for information, and I was asked to liaise with the PAMSEC, Ministry of
Okay.
Works, whom I discussed very extensively on what to do and how to go about it. And the next day, he was there and made promises that the machines will move on Monday. And on Monday, I called, I drew his attention. That was the same day I moved a matter of urgent public importance, and he assured me that the machines have been there, have been moved to site, and work will soon commence.
All right, I'm going. Just a moment. Permit me to cut in here. We need to take Dr. Ike, but I'm going to return to you concerning the specifics now. Talking about what is the problem and how you've been able to. What is going on concerning the open grazing law on the from the House of Assembly perspective, from the legislative angle. I'm going to return to you, Honorable Maker. But we have Dr. Ike Ezugo, a digital forensics consultant and an open source intelligence and cyber warfare expert, a community leader, and of course a public affairs analyst from that same local government, joining us this morning on the program. Dr. Ike, good morning to you.
Good morning to you, my brother.
Thank you very much for
I'm glad to be with you. Thank you so much. I'm glad to join you this morning to discuss this important issue.
All right, let's move on. I'm sure that you're aware of what is happening in your local government, and it's not something to be happy about. What do you expect from the government? But before we get to that point, what do you think is the problem?
Well, absolutely. I am aware of what is happening in Isuikwuato, one, and there are a lot of expectations from government because, one, government has the primary responsibility of providing security for the people. And whenever there are security lapses and it becomes persistent, it points to failure on the part of government. We're not saying that there will never be security issues or lapses, but where the challenge is that when the lapses occur and the people continue to cry persistently without seeing efforts that bring about the desired changes, the people will have no choice than to think that their government is either insensitive or their government has failed. But the unfortunate thing again is that most of the times people will not say this as it is, because in recent time we have people running the affairs of government who have what I will call itching ear to the truth. They prefer people who don't tell them things as it is. With respect to the challenge in Isuikwuato, the security challenges in Isuikwuato, everybody that know when this issue started and the cries of the people, how the people have cried from various quarters, and then the trauma that these have put the people, subjected the people to, are not comfortable with the level of responses we're getting from government, because there are expectations that this should have been proactively handled. One, if it wasn't proactively handled, something should have been done that will bring about that change that is desired by all. But that's not just what we are seeing, even though we are seeing some things that look like responsive statements in the press, and then some little things being done in some places. That is on that part. Then you ask the third question, what we think is the cause. There are a whole lot of things that are responsible for escalated security issues all over the country. First and foremost, we have high rate of unemployment. And then secondly also, we have systems that have made people to move from one location to another and begin to settle in the bushes without recourse to the authorities or the communities. Sometimes those who are in the bushes may even just be there as innocent people doing their genuine businesses, but because they don't have reference to the communities around, they have no submission to the government, or the government has no system of tracking them or managing their operations within their environment. The criminals take advantage of such settlements and then begin to traumatize, harass, and do all sorts of things to the people. So part of that is what we're seeing today as headers. But the headers are not even the issues. The bandits, most of the times we notice that the bandits take advantage of the headers settling in various bushes without recourse to the community or to government. And then when they do the certain things that they are not supposed to do, they run into those bushes and mix up with the headers. And when they are confronted, it will be termed farmers headers clash. Meanwhile, there are issues of bandits that must be dealt with as bandits,
All right.
not headers.
You've pointed out something this morning, Dr. Ike. I want us to look at this from the perspective of the community doing something. If there are strange movements, strange faces in the community, what do you expect the traditional rulers and those in the community to do? You've raised a very important question and, of course, important point this morning concerning the bandits and the headers. The bandits taking advantage of the headers' routes and the likes.
Okay, for the community, there are a whole lot that the community is doing, but there is also a limit to what the community can do when it comes to security. There are two angles to this. One is when the criminals launch attacks within the communities. It's easier for the community vigilante groups to be able to deal with this issue. And in Isuikwuato, most parts of Isuikwuato have vigilante groups that are functioning, doing excellently well. Before now, some of these criminals come in within the communities, operate and go. But ever since the setup of those vigilante and enabling them to work, vigilante groups and enabling them to work, that has significantly reduced. But what we are seeing now is now the criminals now ambushing people along the roads, within all the roads in Isuikwuato, so which is outside the community areas, and it's very difficult for the community vigilante groups to respond effectively to that, or respond as they should respond to that. In some cases, like where the Absu Road now, that we're having a lot of issues that keep occurring morning, afternoon, and night, and every day. We have bushes there where even the criminals are not coming with the vehicle like the former operations, where you see armed robbers or bandits drive in and then do the operation. You can see where they drive out from. They will all come out from the bushes without even a vehicle and then operate. And when they take their victims, they can walk kilometers into the bush. So these are not what the community can deal with effectively without government support. Government has a critical role to play in ensuring that the communities are able to deal with this issue.
All right, let's turn our attention to the solution and what contribution can illustrious sons and daughters of Isuikwuato make to save their own people. Just before I let you go this morning, Dr. Ike Eziugo.
Okay, everybody in Isuikwuato that is considered as an illustrious son of Isuikwuato is doing excellently well in seeing that we bring about solutions to this challenge. One of the things that baffles me is that when this issue is discussed, they say Isuikwuato is a land of general, has a lot of people, veterans, security, and others. But the truth of the matter is that these men are retired. They are not commanders of troops. The government architecture, security architecture, the government do not take instruction. Government security like police, DSS, the army do not take instructions from these people. They don't command them. All they could do is to avail their experiences and the things they are seeing. And then if government make themselves available, they can be able to exchange ideas and work with this. And this is part of what we are doing, including the information we are sharing today on this platform. Beyond that also, there are a whole lot that is going on the background from the illustrious sons of Isuikwuato and daughters of Isuikwuato. But the challenge is that there's a limit to what they can do without government. And if government continue to say, hey, you have men here, you have retired this year, retired that there, I think it's not right. It's not just. It's just about begging the issue. Right, because the truth is that these people can't do anything about this. And before I go also, I want to say it clearly that I don't think that government has responded to this issue as they should respond to this issue. In as much as some people may disagree with me, I believe that we must be very truth. We must tell the government the truth. Even in the Akoli Road now, the Uzuakoli Road, where there are patches going on as we speak, that is meant to deal with those bad spots so that the vehicles cannot stop there and be attacked. The work that is going on there, the quality of work I'm seeing there, it's not what can last for more than a year. And it wouldn't make sense if we don't tell the governor the truth. He might not know
All right.
It's not right. And secondly, we expected that government should have done, Abia State government should have done something that will bring about solution, particularly in the Absu Road and the other places within Isuikwuato. And government has the capacity and the resources to do it. We can't understand why they.
I have to let you go now because of our time so that we can talk to other stakeholders also. Well, but we do appreciate your contribution this morning, Dr. Ike Eziugo, digital forensics consultant, open source intelligence and cyber warfare expert, community and of course public affairs analyst. Thank you very much for your analysis and contribution this morning.
Thank you very much. I appreciate this opportunity.
Thank you very much. Oh, that's Dr. Eziugo. Now, I still have an honorable member representing the good people of Isuikwuato very much in the studio with me, Honorable Emeka Okorafor. You heard what Dr. Ike said there, very important issues raised by him. I don't know, can the House of Assembly compel the state government to take action in Isuikwuato and other areas facing security challenges? He said government has not been sincere. That's a very huge allegation on the government.
Well, I wouldn't know. But one thing I know is that even though the government has promised to take urgent steps to address the issue, nothing has really been done that is visible in terms of the infrastructure problem there. I visited that place 2 days ago and I discovered that nothing has been done except for the one grader that is parked somewhere there. The road still remains the way it is.
Which is actually at an advantage to the kidnappers.
Yes,
and the
very well, very well. Even though the security is saying that there's been a breakthrough in arresting 1 or 2 persons, both the criminal headers and even those from Isuikwuato who are their collaborators. But the truth of the matter is that this is not just a one gang thing. The one operating along Akara Road is different from the one operating between Apsu and Akara Road. It's a different. The other one is led by a Fulani man. The other one is led by an Igbo man.
That's according to your intelligence.
From what I've discussed with those who were victims.
Interesting.
Those ones who were arrested along Nonya Oboro Road. We are entirely Igbos. And the other man that had to pay is a banker, one man from Anambra who had to cough out 52 million. And from his discussion, there is a compromise between some security agencies.
So this revelation you're making, it's a very, very serious revelation this morning. If we should go by it, it means that we should not have this ethnic coloration to some of the crimes being committed in the bushes.
No, not at all. What we are saying is it's not a question of...
when we say it's about headers in the bushes and it's about Fulanis, that's the kind of coloration we paint to some of these crimes, especially in this part of the country.
That's true, but like the one along Akole, I told you I ran into them and I saw their faces because they were not masked. Those ones, from their... You will notice that they are not Igbos. And from those who had recounted their experience, who were kidnapped, will always also tell you that they are not Igbos. But the one from Oboro, Nonya, those ones are Igbos. Then the ones from Apsu to Akara, a combination of the headers and Igbos. So there is always a local content to this. What my take there is that the first thing we need to do, we've had as a house, we've had meetings with the security chiefs in Abia State.
Okay.
And I also shared my experience of what I saw and what I heard about the whole situation. But unfortunately, we have saw this erroneous interpretation of the law. Section 41 and Section 45 of the Constitution is very clear. Sometimes people will tell you there is, right to movement. Though the right to movement in Section 41 is not an absolute right. There are what we call clawback provisions in certain rights guaranteed under Section 4 or Chapter 4 of the Constitution. If you look at Section 33 up to 44 of the Constitution, certain rights are absolute, like dignity of persons, fair hearing. Those rights are absolute, that in no circumstance will you make any law to abridge them. But other rights are subject to defense and security, and any law any law that can stand the test of time in a democratic system. Section 45 said you can make such law, and one of those laws is the anti-grazing law in Abia State that said, look, you cannot allow movement of cattle and cows at the territory of Abia State. That law is very clear. That law has not been challenged. It has not been declared null and void by any competent court of jurisdiction in Nigeria. So that law stands. And that law is within the contemplation of the Constitution in Section 45.
I learned the anti-open grazing law in Abia State has been passed also.
And assented to into law by the governor.
Assented by the governor. Well, it has not been implemented. We've not seen implementation in the state. So it's criminal. It's criminality if someone should graze cows openly in Abia State. Is that what you're saying right now?
Yes, it's illegal. It's unlawful. And we've challenged the security agencies. They are law enforcement agencies. Like I told them the day we had meeting with the security chiefs. I said, your work is not to interpret the law for us. Enforce the law as it is. Whoever is aggrieved should go to court and challenge it. We've made law that said, look, you cannot graze in Abia State, and you should not allow cows to move around in Abia State. It is banned by our own law, and which is constitutional because Section 45 allows that. Even in Section 41, if you go down there, you see it is clearly written in black and white and in English language. But the problem we have is that the security agencies have deliberately refused to implement that law. That's the main problem.
All right, it is still the platform, the pinnacle of all discussions right here on Flow 94.9 FM, and it is the continuation of our series on the security situation, the security challenges in Isuikwuato local government area of Abia State. We have another stakeholder that will be joining us virtually. We've been talking to Honorable Emeka Okorafor, the member representing Isuikwuato State constituency at the Abia State House of Assembly. We spoke with Dr. Ike Ezugo earlier on, but we have another person joining us now, Onyinye Rufus Obi, a trained optometrist, entrepreneur, stakeholder, and a strong voice for the women. I think the first time we're having a woman joining us on this conversation. Good morning to you, madam.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm fine. Glad to have you join us this morning. You represent, I believe, a lot of voiceless women, especially as far as the security situation in Isuikwuato is concerned. What is your position?
Well, in all of this, I feel that the women and children are the ones losing out mostly. When these things happen, when the kidnap happen, when they assault our men, the women are left widows. When they kill our men, the women are left widows. They come into our societies, they rape our women. These women can't even go to the farm. So I see shortage of food in the near future.
It must have affected the economy, especially in Isuikwuato axis of Abia State. Talking about the women going to their farms and, of course, ease of doing business, especially the petty trading in the community. How much are you aware of that? Are you aware that it has affected the economy? And what have you done to mitigate the effect, of course, and to reduce the effect, especially on the women in the community?
Well, you're right. It has affected our women adversely. They can't go to the farm. They can't even go to their places of worship in the morning. Even to go to the stream, fetch water is a problem. So we see shortage of food in the near future. They're petty trading. They can't do it. The ones that have their shops. The children are suffering, you know. So we've been trying to do a lot. You can see all the men that spoke have, all my brothers that spoke have talked about it.
Okay, beyond that, the immediate solution to this is what we're looking at, because as far as we are concerned, we are going to sustain this conversation until we find a lasting solution to the security situation in Isuikwuato. But the immediate solution, like having groups going to the streams, don't you think this will also help to reduce the attacks, especially on the women?
What can women do even in groups to men that are armed, to killers, bandits, criminals that are armed? Sometimes when they call these men herders, I wonder if they are truly herders. These are bandits and criminals. The security forces need to rise up to the occasion. Our governor needs to rise up. The state government needs to rise up. They need to rise up to the occasion. Isuikwuato now is calling out to them. We are peace loving. Our place is so peaceful. Used to be so peaceful. We need these people to come to our aid now.
Are you saying that the government has not been doing enough, especially in that axis?
Well, these people are residing in the forest.
Hmm.
They are residing in our forest. They can be smoked out. We can have them smoked out. Our governor is our voice. Let him stand up and speak out for us. Our people are trying. We have formed bodies. They've made moves towards that. Vigilantes and all that. But how much power do the vigilantes have? They don't have much powers. It's time for government to act. We need government to act now. Fear and terror has taken over the land. We need action.
All right, Lady Onyinye Rufus Obi, thank you very much for your time this morning, especially for creating a balance. We've been talking to the men, right? But you're the first lady we will be speaking to on this platform, a trained optometrist, entrepreneur, a stakeholder, and of course, a strong voice for the women. Thank you very much for talking to us.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Thank you very much for staying tuned. Thank God it's Friday. It is a Friday edition of the program, The Platform, the pinnacle of all discussions, where we take a critical look at issues as it affects our dear nation, Nigeria, and also as it affects our dear state, Abia State. And of course, we're looking at the security challenges and the rising wave of criminality in Isuikwuato local government area of Abia State. It is the continuation of our series. This is the third in that series, and we've been speaking with a wide range of stakeholders, and we still have with us in the studio the member representing Isuikwuato State Constituency, Honorable Emeka Okorafo. Honorable, let me return to you now. I'm so happy that we spoke with a woman this morning. Now, the issue of profiling, it seems you do not subscribe to the profiling of the herders in the area. Do you subscribe to that profiling?
Yes. I remember last year when I did the matter of urgency, I did say that we should mandate the then transition committee chairman to sign the executive orders to ban campaigns in the forest. That even the law that allows for free movement does not say they should remain there. I said we should take a copy from what is happening in Delta State. And recently, I think Ondo Governor Akeredolu even did same thing to say that those who are not registered shouldn't remain in the forest. When your activity becomes criminal, we should be able to proscribe and prohibit such. And that's what I still expect the government of Abia State to do, to ban those campaigns, since they've constituted security challenges to other states. I don't see reason why those people should be allowed to remain in the forest in the name of right to movement. That's no longer movement. If they want to reside, then they should reside where human beings are staying. Look, the economy of Isuikwuato has collapsed. People can no longer go to farm. People cannot buy and sell in Isuikwuato. Like the woman that was kidnapped, she went for her trading. And this is a woman that is so sick. And if you see the kind of treatment they give to these people, I mean, you can't do it to your worst enemy. Even in wartime, you can't do it. There's forced disappearances. I was told so many persons who are not even Igbos are in those camps who were kidnapped, some dying, and they will bury them there. And nothing is happening. So I believe that government should do more, profile them if actually we want to allow them to remain. But clearly the law.
Just before we take the next person virtually, do you think it's a case of political will by some governors not to be able to come out openly and criticize the activities of headers in their states?
Yes, I subscribe to that. Because,
it's about you're saying it's about political
there's
will.
There's lack of political will from those who should take decisions to take those decisions.
Okay, just a moment. I'm going to take you further on that particular political will. What you mean by the political will, and of course, how can they get out of the political will since it is sometimes anti people. Now let's move on. Let's move on. We have Sir Dave Agwala joining us, a Port Harcourt-based businessman, a major stakeholder also in Isuikwuato, and the coordinator of the campaign. Sir Dave, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Thank you very much. You spoke with us the last time. Can you bring us up to speed on what has happened so far from the last time we spoke? Because we still had skirmishes of attack on that axis, and especially kidnapping.
Yeah, exactly. My brother, it is very, very unfortunate that nothing has changed, nothing has happened since that time in terms of response by government and other security agencies. In fact, we know where these people are. They can be fished out. The fact is that they are not doing anything. The portions of the road where they stop people are still as bad before our alarm. Government is not present anywhere. A situation where kidnappers can kidnap in the morning and come back to the same spot to do the same thing in the evening means that no security agency or group went there. It is really unfortunate. Our people are suffering. All approaches to Isuikwuato have problems. You can't single out anyone. And for a government that the primary responsibility is to guard people, safeguard people and their property, to just keep quiet. To just keep quiet. It's amazing. It's amazing. So
Okay.
we are saying that nothing has happened. We want something happen
From
in this area.
from the side of the stakeholders and from the side of the residents and good people of Isuikwuato, what have you done so far from the last time we had this conversation?
This is about security. It's not everything that you say on air or write on paper. It's about security. We are not idle. We are doing the much we can against bandits who have AK-47. We are doing the much we can. A situation where we have vigilantes and they cannot enter the bush because they are not armed. I'm sick and tired of hearing that traditional rulers are chief security officers. I mean, we all know that it don't happen that way. It don't happen that way. You cannot commandeer a DPO to go to where there is crime. They don't. These things have to flow from the commissioner of police, who is Maya, the governor. Even the governor does not command the commissioner of police, but he can bring him and sit down with him and talk about insecurity in some areas and get them to enter the bushes and towns to help people. You can't have a section of the state crying that they are being killed by bandits and nothing is happening about it. How can people sleep with their two eyes closed? How can people be happy at the seat of government? And the people who are supposed to even say this thing in our area are not saying it. There is something systemic because the politicians who are part of the government will not come out to say anything. It is so unfortunate. We have been neglected. We have failed politically. Isuikwuato people. Nothing has come to us since this nascent democracy. And we are saying it shouldn't be so. We should have everybody collaborating to make sure that we move on. So we are doing our best in our own capacities, our levels. Our honorable member is there. He's telling you what he is doing on his own part. We as stakeholders are doing our own.
Okay.
But we cannot do anything without the security
Sir
agency.
Dave, now that we are not getting the needed support and the response from the government, what is the next step for the stakeholders?
The next step is that it's only that you say you are going to kill and the tree will stand there and wait for you to be killed. You're going to cut a tree and the tree is standing there waiting for you. We are going to do whatever that is possible to protect our people. A situation where you can't pass certain roads, you are advised not to pass certain roads because of criminality. You can't go home when you want to. You can't go home and sleep with your two eyes closed. I mean, it is unbearable. That's pushing us to the wall. And I mean, unless we want to die, otherwise we will do something. And that is not what I will discuss on the air.
Now,
the boys are itching to enter the bush after this, and we know what it will be.
you said they are
It will be
itching.
embarrassing.
Are you getting?
Yeah, they
are
want
you getting
to
enough
go after
funds?
them.
The last time we spoke, several stakeholders raised the issue of Isuikwuato Security Trust Fund. Has that been put in? Have you spoken about that? Is it in progress? Have you worked on
Yes,
that?
that was just last week that
Okay.
our brother raised it. And yes, we are working. We are working. The only thing we are not doing is entering the forest to go and fight people, bandits with AK-47. But every other thing we have to do to make sure that we are prepared to face this battle of our lives. We are doing those ones.
Interesting. Sir Dave, we must thank you for your assistance also in rallying round stakeholders for this important discussion from, of course, from your end, from the beginning rather. Thank you very much. We do appreciate
Yes, if you permit me to, I would like to appreciate Blue FM and Abia Fact News for giving us the opportunity. This is opportunity to air our views, to come out and cry for help. It's been so wonderful, and we are all together in this. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We do appreciate. Thank you, Sir Dave Awela, the major stakeholder in Isuikwuato and the coordinator of the campaign. Now, we'll return to you. We were talking about the political will of some some governors in the country to speak out, to speak against the criminality in their state. It took a lot of courage for the Ondo State governor, and it came with a lot of backlash, even across. We started painting party colors, we started painting it religious lines, and of course, ethnic coloration to it. What do you think about the present situation? Painting, we've been so divided along the ethnic lines and religious lines.
I think that's very mischievous for anybody who want to look at security from the angle of political divide or ethnic coloration, because stray bullets and bullets do not recognize religion, does not recognize ethnicity or political platform. The truth of the matter is that the the heads of security agencies at the federal level have all failed us. Even though we agree that those challenges are even within the north too. But I mean, these bandits are entirely foreign, at least to 80% or 70% are entirely foreign. And we recall that during this lockdown last year, a lot of them moved down south and had not gone back to the north. And these are people who now constitute this problem. The governors, constitutionally, they are the chief security officers of the state, even though in reality they don't have command and control on use of operational use of these forces. But there are more they can do. I remember during the short time when Emeki Hedonha was governor, he did a lot in terms of security, use of drones to do area view and find out where these people are. And it doesn't take much. But that's why you had the government political will have to come in. Who can hire these drones from either Shell, ELF, and all those oil drilling companies.
Before getting to the nitty gritty of the battle now against bandits and the likes, the political will of even speaking against the crime happening in your states, that's what I want us to look at now. You said some governors don't have the political will. Why do you think so?
Well, the reality of it is that some persons don't want to offend the federal agencies or President Mohammed Buhari. But like Dino Melaya will say the truth, you die. Don't say the truth, you die. Why don't you say the truth and die? We can't continue to keep quiet and feign ignorance of what is happening in the state. We can't feign ignorance of what is happening in Isuikwuato. Anybody can be kidnapped. Anybody can be killed. Like what we are seeing. Some persons who are not even from Isuikwuato have fallen victim of this kidnapping along that road. Now, if we can't fix the road as presently because of economic challenge, like I told you, nothing is going on along that Akara-Akoli road. Nothing is. It still remains the way those sands I filled in December. That's what we have. In fact, the meeting I had yesterday with some persons, I said, okay, let them have ordered for laterite along that Absu road so that we can use cement and just patch those places in interim so that people can move. I said, bring down those economic trees, those trees like the cashews, the palm trees there, so that these people will not hang there and constitute this problem. If you have a wide range where people can see from far, this thing will reduce. The reality of it is that for me, I'm in APC, but that wouldn't stop me from saying the truth. In terms of security, we are not doing well and we are not getting it well.
Interesting. I would like to take the lines, take the calls and of course reactions. The lines have been blinking, and of course we need to get reactions from our listener right now. But just before then, let's take finally another stakeholder just before we throw the lines open. I think we can connect with him now. That's former commission. Okay. All right. So I think let's take calls then. All right. 0808 182 6949 or 0811 605 2949. You can also drop messages on 0906 510 8289. It's the platform, the pinnacle of all discussions right here on Flow 94.9 FM. Hello, good morning to you.
Hello, good morning.
You're welcome.
Yes, my name is Eric Isuikwuato. I come from Umwabela in Isuikwuato.
You're welcome.
Well, I think the problem is basically with the nonchalance of the security operatives. Let me give you an instance. There's a particular place that is the bad portion of that Akara road. You will find out that there is a track where these bandits take their victims, fly the route on foot to Nonya. Now, I had expected the police to station themselves at that particular spot, but you see them give a distance. So every other time this thing keeps occurring. And let us be frank about these things. These people are Fulani people. I have interviewed more than 4 kidnapped victims, and they've all said these things. So let us not start colorating these things so that you wouldn't look as if somebody is indicting any group of persons. But I will not envelope every Fulani man as a gun-bearing terrorist. We have some of them who are doing this, and some Fulani people who are real cattle rearers are helping us in tracking these people. What do we do at this point? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Quickly, wrap up.
What do we do? What do we do? Yes, what do we do at this point? Like the honorable House member has said, it is not just what the community could do. It has spilled over to the expressway, and there is no how the community could go there and do this. Let us get these policemen and security operatives to station at this particular point. You cannot give 10 polls from a particular flashpoint, and every time it happens, you respond. Instead of you to be proactive, you are responding to crisis. That is a major factor. When the police and the security operatives do their work, then the community could complement. We will always complement. And let me tell you,
all right,
the youth are angry.
Mr. Eric.
The youth are very angry. Whenever this thing gets down to fist cuff, let nobody be blamed. Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much. Hello, good morning to you. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, very good morning to you, Michael.
You're welcome.
Very good morning to you guys there in the studio.
Yes, go on, please.
Yeah, I am Mr. Luxmal. I'm calling from Odimaya.
All right.
Quickly, let me tell you, see the insecurity and the planning happening patrolling in the.
Hello? Hello? All right. If you can call back. Hello, good morning to you. Hello, good morning to you.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, we can hear you. Good morning.
Yeah, thank you. Mike, good morning.
Good morning to you.
Please, been listening to the discussions of what's going on in
Yes,
this
your name first,
and
please.
in
Your
Nigeria
name.
as a whole.
Okay.
Yes, there is something that we have said to listen to. I mean, to find out what is actually happening. You see, this issue of banditry, herdsmen, started precisely in 2016. That is when the mobilization took off from the north down this way. There was mass movement of young men that was coming from the north that time. And we found it difficult to get vehicles to come down. And I asked the transporters, where are these people going? They said they don't know. All they want is to get their money. And that is it. The vehicles were badly loaded and they came here. And since then, I've been watching and listening to what they do. You see, there is what they call economic jihad. It has been used on some countries. Using cattle to move on, and we take K-47 running behind it is what you are suffering. Economic jihad. They want to use this issue to worsen our economy, particularly agricultural economy. If you cannot have food to eat, there's nothing you can do.
Quickly wrap up your thought. You didn't tell us your name.
And that is absolute banditry. And the issue of the political will is that party alliance, party inclination is the thing that is destroying Nigerian politics and the economy and everything.
All right.
Insecurity is rising. All of them have their background in party inclination.
All right. Thank you.
Nigerian governance is based on party.
Thank you for your contribution. Time is fast spent. We need to step out of this. I would have loved us to get more reactions, but my producer is saying we need to step out of the studio already. But let the conversation continue on our Facebook page. We will take your reaction. So hopefully on the State of the Nation later this evening at 8:30 p.m. Many thanks to Honorable Emeka Okorafor, member representing the good people of Isuikwuato State Constituency, and we will keep disturbing you, Honorable, until we find a lasting solution to that area, of course, to the issue of crime, because it seems as if you're the only one that is speaking to the press from that area. I mean, from the government. Looks like even we tried connecting with the chairman of the local government, it's been difficult he has refused to
thank
speak
you,
to us.
Flo FM, for giving us the voice to let people know what we are passing through, even though they are not doing anything. But I don't see any reason why government cannot at least allow the local government have enough fund to put military checkpoints along this route, since the police has failed and have compromised to a large extent. Between Akara and Abs, just about 7 kilometers or 5 kilometers, you can put two army checkpoints there. It will deal with that issue. At least the meantime, along Nonya Oboro Road, put military checkpoints. Along Akara Road, put military checkpoints. Apsu was once in a bad state where people are being beheaded, and since they put a military checkpoint there, it has dealt with the issue. If you go through Okigwe, Ihube, you see at every 5 kilometers you will see military checkpoints.
All right,
so if they can do that, at least in the interim, it will reassure
we need
people.
to step out of the studio. Many thanks to my producer, Samson Eze, and also associate producer, Uyai Obase Jimmy. Thank you very much, Uyai, and of course, Solomon and Stanley. Thank you very much for the visuals on our Facebook and YouTube page. We do appreciate you. We will continue this conversation until we find a lasting solution, and we can say there are no more kidnappings, especially along that route. And for other local governments, get ready. I think you should coordinate yourself. Let's speak on issues, and of course, some critical issues affecting your local government. My name is Michael Oni.